very important factor in a successful outcome is the family support. The family support means the family support, mom and dad being on the same wavelengths, supporting each other, that the child doesn't go to one in order to get what he doesn't get from the other. That often happens. And if we try, and we spend a lot of time explaining to parents, one, this kind of issue of you have to you have to show a common front. Another thing that we have to explain to parents when we help a child is understanding what the child what the change is. A change, when a child comes to us because he has a, I don't know, a socialization issue, might not be the day after he starts the program or even the months after he starts the program just socializing better. He might go through phases of trying attempt of socializing but not being good at it, being clumsy at it, and it's sometimes very frustrating for the parents. Say, you know, he was not very good in relating to others, but at least he was quiet. Now he's loud about it, which means it makes even more full of himself. So, well, that's a process. Also understanding that the process of change, I'm talking about my own experience. The first thing I asked Dr. Tomatis when I met him, after having all 18 years of bad experience I had had, the first question I asked him when he told me, I can help you, I told him, is he going to change my dreams? I mean, that is basically was the first resistance. Yes, I am ready to change, but I am not perhaps ready to change everything about myself. Because I have to hold on something, which is what I know of me, even if what I know of me is not really, worth too much. It's still me. And the process of change in any therapy, particularly therapy which work, can be sometimes a little bit, create a little bit of heat. It's physics, like a movement creates heat. And this heat is gonna become, by a child, to become more emotional sometimes, more oppositional sometimes, more argumentative, louder, negative. No. For a child who has always been basically going with the flow, yes, no, just doing what people want, and then he starts saying no, but he doesn't yet show that he's making progress in other area. For the parent, is like, wow, what's going on here? Okay, you know, it's you say, well, what I'm saying is that the no is the beginning of the yes. It means that I know what I don't want, means that perhaps one day I'm also going to know what I want, which is very much different from I don't really know what I want because I really don't care, or I'm so passive, so vacant, so absent. It doesn't matter. What I often tell parents is that we are working on process. We are working on a process which is going to improve. We are not necessarily working on content. We cannot promise you that you are going to have a polite, disciplined, diplomatic young kid. But you are going to have a kid who is more present, more with it, more with you.
And more independent. And that's ultimately the thing. And it's funny that you say all of this, because I would have so many parents, and when their child is going through the lift, and obviously we meet very regularly over that period, the parent might say, I'd say, so what are you seeing changing? And the parent might say, well, he's definitely cheekier. And he's definitely like talk about pushing the boundaries. Like,
good for him.
And then I say, well, could that be a good thing? Because before we started the lift, he was so passive. He was doing everything that you wanted, but he wasn't thinking about what did he want to do himself. So it's exactly as you're saying there. And I think it's fantastic from the parent's point of view that once, and that's why it's so important with any sound therapy program that a parent would do, family would do, that they have a skilled, experienced clinician to work with who understands the process, who understands what's shifting and changing, and what that means in terms of skill development, but also understanding that the child who's becoming more independent is often the child who looks like they're becoming cheekier, more oppositional, more defiant.
Absolutely.
All of
that's
that.
That's the price to pay, and it has to be accepted. Otherwise, it's basically putting back in the box.
Down. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
I've seen.
Yes.
And I've
yes.
seen, and you are absolutely right. 80% of my time is counseling,
Yes.
is guiding parents,
Yes.
while the child, with the help of the therapist, is doing what needs to be done to produce the change we are talking about. We have to be with the parent, with the teacher sometimes, with the healthcare professional who are helping him, explaining what the process is. It's very, very, very important. And that's why I have a strong resistance to anything people can basically buy out there at the open of the internet, because they don't know what they perhaps know the technique, they read about the technique, but they don't know how this technique